The final exams for the matric class of 2017. Today's first papers will be unofficial languages. Tomorrow, more than 630,000 pupils will sit for their English paper 1. President Jacob Zuma has wished matriculants well, and the Basic Education Department says everything is ready for exams to proceed. Gauteng Education MEC Banyazali Sufi says measures are in place to prevent any disruptions. Earlier this month, the quality assurer Umalusi said additional measures were in place for printing, storing and the delivery of papers. The educational institution has also promised drastic measures against all learners, educators and department officials who were implicated in acts of dishonesty. All right, and to talk to us more on this issue, we joined from our Bloemfontein studios by the CEO of Umalusi, Dr. Mafu Rakometsi. Dr. Rakometsi, good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Live.
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning to your listeners.
Thank you so much indeed for your time, Dr. Rakometsi. Are you satisfied with the preparations leading to today's start of the matric exams?
The preparations that have been made are impeccable, and we as the quality assurance body, Umalusi, we are happy having crisscrossed the whole country to look at the level of preparedness of the different provincial education departments. We can only be positive emanating from what we have seen so far.
All right, and all examination papers we know that are moderated and also approved by Umalusi before they can be written by the learners. Have you taken any safety and perhaps security precautions to make sure that you control any leaks that might happen, more so if we take into consideration what happened in Limpopo last year?
Can I just put a few things in perspective? We are not the ones who have to secure the papers. We do oversight. We check whether the different provinces have secured the papers. As a quality assurance body, we are not the ones who are responsible for securing the papers. We just ensure that the standards that have been set are followed by the different assessment bodies. And indeed, we are satisfied with the level of prudence that the colleagues have shown in the different provincial education departments.
As it is now, Dr. Rakometsi, you are in the Free State province to monitor the schools' readiness. What are some of the areas that you're focusing on as part of your road trip around South Africa?
I'm going to be going to the Provincial Education Department in the Free State to check the security systems at the Examinations Directorate in Bloemfontein. And I'm going to also be meeting the senior executives and senior managers of the Free State Department of Education to check their state of readiness and to discuss also matters of mutual interest with them regarding our quality assurance role.
And recently you also communicated with the different provincial departments of education, more so on the concerns that you had regarding the national examinations and that they should be addressed before the commencement of the exams. What were those concerns? Talk to us about the concerns and how have they been dealt with?
We wrote to the departments. In the main, the major thing was the floods that we experienced in KwaZulu-Natal. And I would imagine it was also in the Western Cape, where we wrote to the heads of departments to say to them what contingency plans have they put in place, realizing that by the time my officials visited them to check on the state of readiness, they had not been overtaken by such. Now, I'm expecting a report today indicating where the centers that have been damaged by the floods, whether they have made other alternative arrangements for the learners to write at alternative venues. That is number one. Number two, we're looking at staffing issues to say you've got inadequate staff to run these examinations. Now, I would expect that by now, that would have been addressed. We're looking at the security cameras, that they were not fully covering the areas that they needed to cover. That also, by the start of the examinations today, must have been corrected. So there was a whole range of issues that we wanted to address with them, and the HODs have been alerted and they are acting on those areas that we had highlighted.
But in terms of the improvement to the systems of the different Department of Education, are you satisfied as to how things are looking currently in the Rakometsi?
And let me just say the number of years that we have been running examinations in this country would mean that the examination administrators at provincial level are seasoned people. They have gone through the processes year after year, and they've perfected the system. So I'm really satisfied. We've got experienced people, we've got committed people who work long hours, who are really, really committed to the work that they do. I am on record as saying that it takes only one person, one lunatic, to spoil the system. When one person decides to steal a question paper and sell it to students, it is very difficult for us, with the system as big as this, to identify that person on time and to take corrective measures. One other thing that is very important is that all officials who are working in the examinations directorates of the different departments are vetted. They've been vetted by the security agencies of this country. So the necessary precautionary measures have been taken by the different provincial education departments.
All right, Dr. Rakometsi, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for talking to us. That's Dr. Mafu Rakometsi. He is Umalusi's CEO, talking to us about the readiness of the matric exams that are due to start this morning.